Hi, we're back once again for another weekend. Fresh shave. We're gonna tackle the inside wiring. So let me just show you what we were dealing with. We kind of quit last weekend, a little discouraged. More wire to do. I'm not a big fan of wiring. The wiring is just turning out to be a big mess. So we've got this one right here, black for ammeter. It's completely toasted the plug, but this is the wire. So this is the wire that I replaced on that other 8-pin over there that was completely burnt out. And I mean, this thing's got, let's count them up here. We got 1 patch, 2 patches, and then I took out another 2. So we've got a total of about 4 patches within a couple feet. But we're gonna tackle the inside. What we're gonna do is just route it through another place on the firewall. We've got some plugs, maybe we'll put it through there where other stuff goes. Kinda wanna isolate that wire till I can figure out what's going on with it. I know Duster's had a problem with the ammeter, as I read, but we're gonna try to get that black wire off on its own going into the cab somewhere else. Oh yeah, we lost you there for a second. So we're gonna get to work, route that black wire through. As you can see here, that black wire is the one that disintegrated that I was looking for over here and caused some more bad wiring. So let's get to work. Let's strictly get everything into the dash fixed. I'm going to show you that here in a second when I jump in the car. It's terrible. Let me find a flashlight. We'll show it to you right now before I get all the tools in there. Once we get in the car, it's a little tight, so. But that's kind of what we're dealing with. I mean, everything's chewed up or melted. So we're going to get to work. We're going to fix everything we can properly, which means shrink wrap, soldered, fixed. What I like to do when it comes to any kind of electrical stuff is I'll show you here in a minute. We'll show you in the car, okay? Let's get to work. Hurry up, battery's dying. So we cut the wire. It comes off the plug from the firewall. It's the same one that was burnt out there. I mean, that's splice, 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 massive splice with about a roll of electrical tape right there. Seeing this should make you mad just because this is someone's safety, so we're gonna fix it. You get that it happened at the time, probably all you had to do, but don't do that. Don't be that guy. This is bad wiring. It's at the time wiring, but it should have been addressed later. So we're gonna fix it. We're gonna take it out. We're gonna have to find a new way to route that wire because that plug, it ain't going back in there. So we'll get it figured out. We'll come back. Let's keep working. Hey, back for another weekend. Ready to get into some wiring. Weather's nice. Feeling pretty motivated. Let's get back on the car. We're gonna finish some wiring. We just ordered some wire that's gonna be delivered, some 12 gauge. So let's jump back in there. Let's finish up this wiring. Let's get the car out of here. If anything, let's go bring it to my house and I'll bring the Challenger out here so we got a little more that we can do on the weekdays. Because right now we're kind of stuck in the shop for the weekends and kind of where the name came from, weekend wrenching. So let's hopefully see if we can get a lot of this wiring done, get it done. I'm tired of making episodes on wiring because it's really boring. So let's get it done. Let's get it out of here. So let's get to work. You guys are gonna follow along. Let's knock it out. Let's go. Oh, making a little update. We got a lot done yesterday. Today is Sunday. Bad news about yesterday is didn't record a lot of it. So what we ended up doing was just popping the whole block part out. Now you can tell which ones used to hold the ammeter. Yeah, that one, obviously. They completely burnt out, I'm guessing. I did read that there was an issue with them. So what we're gonna do is just thread them through these big holes, and then we are going to throw a fuse in them. So what we're gonna do. Other than that, a lot of these, this one's new. It's got a different connector. These are actually relatively easy to get out. You use a pick. You push them in, push the wire in, use the pick, get it in there and pull it out. Comes right out. What we did is replaced a couple of them. One issue I am running into, I have a red power that I know is supposed to go to one of these. Problem is I don't know which one. This white one goes to grounds. The orange ones go to radio and something else with a yellow. So it's kind of an issue of where it goes. I'm pretty sure it used to go to this, but I couldn't really tell because it was so burnt up and so hacked in. So what we're dealing with is trying to figure that out. But we're gonna get back to wiring. Gonna get back to work. Follow along. We're back. Once again, it's one thing I like to say. I watch my videos, I realize I say it every time. We changed gears. We decided we needed to do a cleanup. So we cleaned up, vacuumed it out. Now I'm looking, let me get to the other side here. Underneath the dash where the steering wheel is, where all the wires are, I just vacuumed it out. I thought it was just mouse. I gotta grab a flashlight here. Thought it was just like some dirt, some mouse droppings, and some other stuff in there. It's a little rusty, so what we're gonna do real quick is, because I have another project I have to do on my truck, is we're gonna pour and protect that. Let me see if I can get you in here. So we've got quite a bit down there. It's just a little rusty. It's nothing bad, it's just starting, but we have the pour. We bought some little containers, which are a lot nicer because when you go to seal the big ones, it's hard to get the lid back off. So what we're gonna do for now is we're going to clean it, get like a rag or something in there, maybe a little Scotch pad in that area, and then we're gonna pour it. So far I like the pour stuff, it just goes on. Once it's on, it's not coming off though, unless you get really in there. And where that spot area is, you'd have to take the whole dash off to get that stuff back out. So we're gonna wash the car a little bit and then we're gonna pour it. And while I'm doing that, I think I'll clean my box. All the little pieces I kind of took out. I know the glove compartment needs to be sandblasted or at least scuffed up and painted again. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to find that hunter green as easily as I was to find the outside body, but for now I think the dash is actually wired. Now we have to go in there and encase it in those little plastic sleeves, which I hate doing. But other than that, some stuff we did yesterday that wasn't on camera or anything. Had some help. We went through the front just a little bit. We, for some reason, I don't know if they did this on purpose, but we had the little wire that goes to the solenoid was on the ground. And it looks like it's been there for a while. So I'm not 100% sure if someone just did that as a theft deterrent, say someone tries to steal it in the field, but it was a no-no. Other than that, we got a new battery cable, new wire. One wire we do need is the jump from the solenoid to the battery itself. Don't have any 8 gauge, all we have is some 10 gauge. So I have to run and go get some of that as well. Other than that, we cleaned up the front again a little bit. I had, when I was first wiring it, all I did was place wires in bundles and put a question mark if I didn't think they were right. So that was another thing I just did. Something I did just find out is these speedometer cables. I've been saying it's going to be a pain and I need to custom make one. This center piece pulls out and it's got a little crimpet on the end. Once this is off, you can actually pull these off, the mounting head. So I do need to get it in that hole. I'm going to go underneath the car again, take the transmission one out, pull this whole thing out and see how bad it is to thread it back into the hose or sleeve. And I did do it with the old one right here. You can see I already pulled off the old head, which I need for the speedometer. But I thread it back in and it was fine. The only thing I'm worried about is when I pull it out in the transmission, I want to make sure it's back engaged in the transmission. So we're going to take it back out of the tranny, pull this metal wire out that actually engages the speedometer, thread the one through the interior and the firewall without the head on it because I know it won't fit with the head, and then reinstall it and see how it actually works. Now this is just me pulling on wires because I knew I needed to get that head off, so let's see if it actually works. If it does, cool. Really didn't have to buy speedometer gauge or cable, but let's get to work. Let's see what we can do. Car's far from done, but let's get back at it. Let's clean it, pour it, get the speedometer cable figured out. We're getting too many projects at once, so we need to go back to a few things at a time. Another thing I did notice while was getting some help is that rear wheel seal that we put in is leaking again. I know I probably drove it in just a little too deep, but it's leaking. I just put the pan under there. I know it's leaking because I had cleaned underneath it to see if it was leaking when I put the new one in. So we got to replace that again. Other than that, we got a lot of little things to do from that came with messing with the wires in the car. We're going to finish up those little loose ends. So we are switching gears again. That's kind of my thing. I like to get little things done when they come. So let's get back to work, get the little things cleaned up, and then we'll go back to wiring, going over the wiring that we just installed, and then putting the interior dash back together. But for now, I think we've honestly got every mouse nest out of this car, so along with some of their droppings. But let's finish what we say we're going to do, and we'll come back, okay? Good news, we have the speedometer cable completely installed. Lucky for me, I didn't fail my transmission after the last time we'd taken it out, and I think it was like episode 24. But we're gonna bring the car down and show you what we did. Could have put it on camera, but I've never did it, so I just wanted to make sure that we had everything ready to go. But I can run through it just the way I did it. Because I have two speedometer cables, the old one and this new one that's just got installed. I guess the thing I really thought was you couldn't take these heads off without having to really mess with them. I guess I hadn't really looked at them. They're kind of crimped in, so they come apart pretty easily. Then they all seem to fit, like the plastic one I just put on, which is the original that I needed. It literally looks like the only thing that really retains it, other than that little crimp, which the crimps are pretty little, is just some inside on the cable. There's a little nut. Set this up. So while we're looking at it, this is all it was, and this little nut right here, see that? That's what kind of fits inside here. So to take this off, which is usually right here, you have to pull the cable completely out, which it just slides right out. When you put it back in, it literally, everything lines right back up. So this sits here. To get this one off the new one, it was a little different than the plastic. The plastic was broke over time. I just ground it a little bit to get a little bit of a relief. See it right there. So we cut it, stuck the new one on, and this is all we did for the new one. Grabbed a little hose clamp and some, well, you know me, I like shrink wrap. So we grabbed some shrink wrap too. It's not done yet, but it's all we got. It's tight, it's got the new wire, sticks out just about as much as the other one. What we're gonna do is cut the hose clamp, put the shrink wrap around it so it doesn't cause any issues. Because that's a new piece of metal that we're adding to the car, and we don't want it to wear through anything, mess with anything else. So we're gonna shrink wrap it, or you could electrical tape it. I like shrink wrap just because heat it up, it goes on, it's never coming off very thick stuff, rubber. Trust it more than tape on the sticky side. So we're gonna keep finishing up little projects, get ready to put the dash back in. So keep following along, we're gonna keep plugging away. I think right now we're gonna go finish cleaning some other stuff up. Speedometer cable is something I wanted to do because I didn't know if it would work. If it didn't, I was gonna order some more parts. So keep hustling away, we're gonna keep working on the car. Follow along. once again. The camera's angled, so I have to rotate it. We, as you just saw, took apart the box. That thing was disgusting. The amount of mice and stuff in there. And then I don't know if I caught it, but I stuck a hose in the condenser there, the radiator, and just black and brown. It was black at first, then it turned brown. It was nasty. So we left the garden hose in it for about 5 minutes, ran it through till it was completely clear, and then we tried the other side, black and brown somehow again. So hopefully we got that all cleaned out. We're gonna put everything back together now. That was definitely worth the clean, I would say. We didn't break anything. We cleaned up some connectors that were rusty. We got a few more things to clean up, but I want to put it back together just to have it back together. Never like leaving stuff apart for too long, so you forget how it goes back together. So what we're gonna do is just sweep out in front of where we emptied all the mouse droppings, and then get back to work with putting it back together. So we'll set you on a time lapse for that as well. Hi, we're going to be wrapping up this weekend. We got a lot done, even though if the video might be a shorter one. When I got into wiring, just kind of wanted to do it, so I did it without the video camera for a lot of it yesterday. About 8-hour day. The biggest thing to notice is I just tried to put some plugs in the dash. It's got a little like light socket twist for the instrument panel. I have to order 10 new ones because all of them are broke. So luckily they're only $8, which is actually would have been cheaper to buy those with the LEDs, which I just did, which was $7, than to buy the lights that I just bought that were about $30 to $40. So win some, you lose some. Got extras. So yeah, this weekend's done. Some stuff we got done is some wiring in the engine bay. Cleaned out the heater box. Cleaned miscellaneous parts inside for the dash. Got the dash poured. We got the dash rewired. Some things I still have to do are where that plug right here comes out. We have to just double check what we wired in there, which we wired B. I guess in Plymouth they went A through whatever on those, so we rewired B. B used to be W, and on our schematic, W went to the neutral safety switch on the transmission. So all technically I should have to do is find the plug for it and just attach those wires, which it should be this one right here. The only weird thing is it has 2 on this end, which is the out end, and then when you actually look at the plug, it's got 3 wires going in. So got to trace down which is which here. I know this one here has been messed with. I'm guessing they probably got rid of the neutral safety because it had been cut before I even owned the car and wrapped around something underneath the car. So other than that, we'll get to that next week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if there's something I missed or something I need to refix. Have a good one, guys.